Chairman, so a life of revolution is known as, or is considered a life of struggle and sacrifice. So concerning the sacrifices, you made, how do you feel about the decision to, make those sacrifices towards the advancement of the revolution and struggle for a better Ghana?
In fact, when I got convinced that there are two courses, the revolutionary path and the bourgeois path, I clearly knew that the path of revolution is one of struggle. I also made sure that I studied the experiences of our predecessor revolutionaries, the Lumumbas, the Union of the Populations of Cameroon, struggles, liberation fighters who were in Ghana during Nkrumah's time. So I knew that the path of a revolutionary was not rosy.
Okay, so Chairman, considering the many sacrifices you have made towards the revolution, most particularly abandoning your scholarship in 1982 to join the PNDC, how do you feel about it?
Oh, in fact, I know that to be a revolutionary means sacrifices. In fact, I've not regretted ever abandoning scholarship to work. The what rather was unfortunate is that what I thought would come out of it didn't come out of it. So I expected to even make more sacrifices in life than that because I think that a revolutionary cause can lead to your death or anything of that sort. To most of our predecessors, revolutionaries, a number of people have died at very early ages. So for me, there's no limit to the sacrifices of a revolutionary.
To follow up, why were you willing to make all these sacrifices?
Because I'm convinced that unless there is a total change in the system, the life of majority of our people will never improve, and that only a greedy few bastards will be enjoying the few resources that we have, and a number of people will be suffering. In fact, sometimes when I even talk about military regimes, I said, what about under civilian regimes where contractors take money which was made for contracts, have shoddy roads, and people die in accidents? There are also ways of killing people. So, unless there is a total change, when we have a system from each according to his ability and to each according to his needs, the world will be a crisis world. And that is why I'm ready to make the maximum sacrifice for a change for generations to come.
Senior, on the matter of, still on the matter of the PNDC, what experiences did you have and what lessons have you learned from having to join the PNDC and then moving into exile?
Oh, the greatest lesson I learned is that to be able to have a revolution initiative, you need experience and people well understood the challenges which will face a revolution. In fact, I think we were young people who rushed into a job we were not ready for and only created a situation for those who knew what they were scheming for. In fact, my senior, who was the adjutant at Gonda Barracks, which means the chief administrator for the military headquarters of the PNDC, he told me that we were young people who were idealistic and didn't were naive about the world, but Rollins and Co. they knew what they wanted. So we were just deceiving ourselves that it was a process for change. But obviously the others they had their own agenda. So and that is the reason why I always try to raise consciousness among people. In fact, when I came, I was at the College of Education at Kachi to speak to students. And one student, he's now in Kwando and a member of the socialist movement of Ghana Kwando Collective. He wanted to de-emphasize his education at College of Education and rather want to go around with me being a professional revolutionary. I told him, no, don't do this. Concentrate on your education, because a lesson I learned that when we didn't have a prepared, well-organized organization, you can't go about fooling yourself that you were a professional revolutionary. And the guy did well. He completed University of Winneba, and he is now with the Metropolitan Authority in Pando, working very well.
Okay, so senior, for those of us young ones, what we see from history is that the rhetoric of Rollins at the beginning was that he came for the poor. He was here to uplift the Ghanaian poor people. And yet, at the end of it all, he ended up going to the IMF, and the policies of the structural adjustments, as some may know, is what led to the massive impoverishment of Ghanaians. But his colleague Sankara shows that the way out was not to go to the IMF. So I want to ask you, what is your view on the decision by the Rollins government to turn to the IMF?
Oh, in fact, the CID classified file now said that Rollins had no clear idea about how to advance anything for the populace as that he wanted. So, in fact, Rollins, since he had no clear idea, JLS, Abe and co, who knew what they were about, took control of him, and he just had to slavishly go on. You see, the difference between Sankara and Rollins is that Sankara was involved in a disciplined study group. This is the matter of study, which is why I'm also saying that one of the lessons I've learned is that if you don't have well-organized revolutionaries trained, knowing about implications, you cannot initiate such a process. And that's why I felt that Compaoré betrayed Sankara and had him killed. You can still see how Sankara's path has come back again in Burkina Faso today through the young boy Traore. So clearly, Rollins and Sankara are two different types of people.
Okay, senior. So let me ask you, what are your views on Ibrahim Traore?
Oh, Ibrahim Traore. In fact, I am part of the Pan-African Reparations International Standing Conference observer team which sent a delegation to the three countries, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali. And the fact is, the steps he has taken in terms of trimming down the expenditure of the bureaucrats, just like the way Sankara did, the step to initiate the gold refinery. In fact, when during the Rollins time, people had the impression as if without IMF and World Bank, you can't do any major project. He has kicked out his wall. He has not gone for IMF loan or anything, but he is building a gold refinery and targeting even the completion date. So when I look at these things, I think that we need solidarity for people like that, because the alliance of Sahel states that they have introduced now is just similar to the Ghana, Guinea, Mali that Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, and Sekou Touré initiated some time ago. So I think that it should even be a nuclear that they need a lot of solidarity and support to advance. And when our delegation went, you could see the relevance of Modibo Keita in Mali for the regime which is there today. In fact, Modibo Keita, He was supposed to hold the fourth All-Africa People's Conference, when after the third All-Africa People's Conference adopted a resolution on neo-colonialism, and Modibo Keita was supposed to host the conference for them to discuss how to combat neo-colonialism. It was then that the imperialist forces intervened, made sure there was a coup in Mali, and the All-Africa People's Conference process, it seems people are even trying to push it under the carpet and go back as if nothing happened for all those three conferences, expecting the fourth, which Nkrumah initiated. Because specifically, the All-Africa People's Conference concentrated on the struggle of neo-colonialism. And I think that it is the legacy which we have to rebuild.
Chairman, in simple terms, and for many who may not understand the technicalities, what is neocolonialism?
Neocolonialism is the functioning of our society in a way as if colonialism never ended. So all the structures which were responsible for colonial rule are still in place, apart from the figures sitting in the castle not being the British Queen's representative. We ourselves have put people there, but everything that they do, the educational system and all, is the same as what we have under colonial rule.
Many people believe that the activities and the actions of African leaders are teleguided by Western interests. But is it the case that aren't the African heads of states willing tools to the interest of these Westerners? Are they being forced? Because it appears, the rhetoric is that they are being forced and they don't have a choice. But isn't it the case that they actually are willing to participate in the sellout of their own countries?
The fact is that to be a revolutionary, you don't walk into being a revolutionary. For any African leader who wants change, first of all, they have to train themselves. That's why I said that Sankara, for example, he belonged to a study group. The education system has produced the Africans to just continue as if colonialism never ended. So, for you to be different, you see, Traore, all those people, for them to be different, it means you have to re-study. In other words, study the life of those people who have made changes and all that. Last I saw somebody wrote an article saying that we should study what the Chinese have done in their country and find out what lessons from there. So long as our leaders don't study anything about how they should be different, they cannot be different.
Many young Africans are disappointed in, let's say, the older generation. For many young Africans, they have been failed and let down. And for which reason they, adopt any means whatsoever, any means possible to move out of Africa in droves. Do you have hope for the future of Africa?
I have a lot of hope for the future of Africa because it is not everybody who has given up. The fact that we are even having this program means that some of us have hope. And we are expecting that this program, the videos which will come out of this, will educate other people, will convince other people. In fact, recently when I put up the posters about Pan-Africanism in Peking and bringing up Ephraim Amun, Kwame Nkrumah, Esther Klu, I've been receiving phone calls all the way this weekend that I'm in Accra that people I'm even surprised that people are showing such an interest. You see, the young people, they can say that they are disappointed in the older generation. But as PLO Lumumba was saying recently, it's not just the older generation. Maybe it's also because the younger generation have learned from the older generation how to be like them. Because he, in his speech, said that 40% of young people in Kenya don't see anything wrong with corruption. And that all what they see is that you should not be caught. And that there's a recent speech of PLO Lumumba circulating now where he's fearing for how the young people will observe, will also continue into the future. So we have to intensify the work we are doing. This type of work has to be intensified. That is the only alternative. Without intensifying what we are doing, the young people will only see the corrupt examples. But that, when we do more of this, then they will see that, oh, there are other people who are different, who even don't fear death, who are prepared to do this thing and say that, look, I'm not afraid of even dying. I want to do this for the world to change. That if we don't make this sacrifice, the world is not going to change. The fact is, once they start seeing this, then our numbers continue to increase. That is how change happens in society everywhere.
In terms of intensifying the work, what should progressives adopt as a plan of action to attract many young people to join them to fight or combat against this?
First of all, we need organization. See, we cannot just be labeling ourselves progressive loosely as if it's some t-shirt that you wear, progressive. We have to find people who practically want to do things. Sometimes the talk too is just too much. You get it? Sometimes the talk is just too much. We have to find ways, because once we are doing this program, there must be other people in every constituency trying to also organize people. And then, as an organization, we can come out with a plan of action. Unless we are organized, how do we come out with a plan of action? And I don't think that even there is a consensus in our society on who is progressive. I think there's more of labeling and cut and paste. I see a lot of people doing cut and paste and labeling. Many of them cannot even stand away from their phone or computer as progressive. They are busy doing the cut and paste on the phone or computer. So we need to be within the mass of the people, as representative of the people, having a forum where we can have a plan of action. Then the action will also involve the people, because action or a few people talking in the name of the people, without the people, won't get anywhere.
Chairman, you earlier mentioned that people carry the label of progressives and wear it as though it is a t-shirt. I think same can be said for the label Nkrumahist. I believe strongly you are an Nkrumahist, and what does it mean to be an Nkrumahist?
I think if you are a Christian, you are a follower of Jesus Christ. And actually, when you are an Nkrumahist, the word comes out of Nkrumah's name. So it means you have to be somebody who will conduct yourself like Nkrumah, the type of things Nkrumah believed in, the type of things Nkrumah did. First, one, believing that without African unity, we cannot advance. So you be a person who will fight for African unity, a person who will fight for the interests of the large number of people, a person who will believe in self-sacrifice, as Nkrumah himself self-sacrificed, and the person who will be committed to a society from each according to his ability and to each according to his wants. This is the person I think will be an Nkrumahist, because you can't be an Nkrumahist when you are everything except what Kwame Nkrumah was.
Okay, so Senior, can anyone who is part of the current political status quo, whether NDC or NPP, credibly claim to be an Nkrumahist?
Oh, not only NDC and NPP, even if you are in CPP and you cannot conduct yourself this way, how can you be an Nkrumahist? Even when you are a CPP and you cannot conduct yourself this way, how can you be Nkrumahist? If the name is there, maybe you are an Afro-Gbedeist or something, because there were other people in CPP like Afro-Gbede, so Afro-Gbedeist too can be there. But as for Nkrumahist, you must follow the footsteps of Kwame Nkrumah, Once you are not following the footsteps of Kwame Nkrumah, we can class you can be an Afro-Gbedeist or Kroboduseist.
In taking into consideration the colonial and post-colonial history of Ghana, we can emphatically say that Kwame Nkrumah was the most attacked president in this country as far as, violence was even concerned. No other president could speak of the amount of violence that was geared or directed towards Nkrumah. Why do you think he was, from the colonial leadership to the post-colonial leadership, why do you think he was the most vilified or hated?
Yes, because first, he wanted to bring to an end a monstrous system controlled by very powerful forces. So those forces which were threatened will all fight back. All those people who benefited from colonialism, all those people who benefited from greed, they are a very powerful force. The fact is, once their control is ended, the control, the benefit they were getting will also be ended. And so these are powerful forces. He wanted to change the world. And there are people who do not want the world to change. So it's not surprising that there was so much attack on him. But the fact is, today, I think anybody who wants to attack Nkrumah now will look ashamed. Even his dead body is being worshipped by the same people who attack him all the time. The mausoleum is being expanded into a memorial park and all that. So even when they will not be sure whether it is even justified for attacking him, because his dead body is still attracting the largest number of tourists into this country. His dead body. There have been presidents after him who have also died. What are they attracting? Yes, there are presidents after him. Number of the Second Republic, Third Republic, Fourth Republic, we have had dead presidents. What are they attracting? Which shows Kwame Nkrumah no size.
Many people believe that the 1966 coup was the greatest catastrophic event in the history of Ghana.
Maybe even Africa.
Do you side with them?
Oh, as a person committed to revolutionary struggle, well, even people who are not Ghanaians would reach that same conclusion, because this country has been on the downslope. Many people have recently, there are many people who even say they don't talk politics. But these days, when I meet them and say Nkrumah, they are all prepared to say, what? Nkrumah? No size. Even the people who say they don't talk politics. So gradually, people are even coming to the realization. And I say, even the people criticizing, they are using him to attract money to the country. So the days that Nkrumah will be attacked or vilified are over. It is the laziness of we, the Nkrumahs ourselves, to organize actively, which is now the problem. So the ball is in our court for us to be able to sacrifice like our leader, get into every community, mobilize people, and let the movement wake up.
Thank you very much, Herman, and for your time.